Hi, Srushti. Long time
Hi,
no
Aiste.
seeing. How are you?
I know. I'm good. How are you?
Well, you might be hearing from my voice that I have been singing all night long. It's just been, like the bucket of birthdays opened around here, and quite a lot of people just celebrating around with little parties, a little bit of singing, dancing, and stuff. So I feel a
Mm,
bit like, muscle tense now, and my throat muscles also a little bit, but I hope it's still, you don't feel like I'm mutating into a man or I'm a smoker, so
no.
I hope you recognize me still.
Of course, your smile is what captures our attention. I'm sure for the listeners also. So yeah,
Okay,
nice.
cool. So today I actually thought it's great to chat about the power that drives the world, love.
Love.
And basically just explore different love languages, or yeah, the same five love languages, how they are expressed or perceived or valued in East and West. And I think
Mhm.
specifically today we're talking about Gary Chapman and his concept of five love languages. Basically, just to give a quick recapture for people who might not be so aware, because we won't be going into details on the theory. We're going to more like talk about the practicality of it and in different cultures. But Gary Chapman basically kind of defined five love languages because he said that people, well, love is unique and we're all unique in love, and we show love differently, and we feel loved in different ways, and there are different things that we
Mhm.
appreciate more. And there were five love languages: so words of affirmation, acts of good service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So we basically gonna jump in all of those, exploring how it touched maybe in our lives, in our culture, and in general any kind of fun facts that we've noticed that could be interesting for the viewers and listeners. So maybe we
Mhm.
can jump straight in. And Srushti, what is your love language? Do you know?
Well, I have noticed like changes in me. So when I was younger, I loved receiving gifts. And if I didn't receive, I was like, hey, what's happening? Like, I'm not appreciated, or I'm not. That was just completely my love language. And because I was such a gift giver,
Mm,
so I expected the same. And men in India or guys in India are not that kind of like, they're not as creative, or they haven't seen their fathers probably being like all chivalrous and gifting their mother's stuff. So I had a hard time in that. So maybe I bumped into the wrong guys who had a different language.
but I have to also
So,
say, just before you continue, Srushti is a very creative gift giver. She makes so much stuff with her hand, and she comes up with such concepts, like handmade concepts, that it's very hard to catch up. So I can imagine that guys must have had like really hard time to answer you back in the same creativity that you put.
yeah, very hard time. Like, oh my God, don't ask. There have been times when, okay, it's a goodbye. The guys would be like returning back, my gifts of love that I gave, and I would be like, yeah, okay, I'll take it. I don't, it's my creativity, I'll take it. And then I'm like, oh my God, so much of stuff I like spent on glitters and on paper and on time, like thinking and writing books, like complete books
Oh my
about
God.
our story and chapters. So it was crazy. So, but not anymore, because now I'm tired, of gifting and not getting the same response because my level is like here. So now, definitely, my language I can be for sure is acts of service. A little bit of acts of service and a little bit of quality time, but more of acts of service.
Okay, but would you say you mean you more show to your partner your love through acts of service, or actually that's also how you love to receive, like how love is, how much, how you feel loved through act of service of your partner?
Well, for me, it's become both ways. So, like active service, receive and give. Because
Mhm.
I think in the end, like at least I'm in this stage right now where I'm not that young, and immature person anymore. So I'm like,
Hey, you're
like,
very young.
oh yeah, yeah, young means actually stupid. Let me be like clear. So I'm like, I'm not much trapped into material now. So I see like, okay, I find love with this. It's a different translation. So yeah. What
Hmm.
about you? I'm a bit curious
Do you
about
want to
that.
guess what is my love language?
Um, is it quality time?
Mm, it's important to me, but
Touch.
I wouldn't say the ruling one. Actually, surprisingly, I think I have two very strongly expressed ones. One is physical touch. Like I don't know where it's coming or like how it formed to me, but for me, being hugged, kissed, cuddle, holding hands, all these things for me is way more important than any words, any gifts. Like for me, that's how I actually feel really loved by my partner,
Mm,
equally to acts of service. And acts of service for me, I think is coming very strongly from my family. Like I would say my parents maybe are not that expressive with words, but I can see these little things that my dad does for my mom, like I mean, contributing like to a lot of like daily chores or helping her with things silently, kind of stuff. And I feel, oh, this is love. For me, this is kind of when your partner kind of helps you to reduce the heaviness of the day through little things that he does around, like I don't know, even bringing, if a partner brings you a cup of coffee when you like in the meeting and on work and you can see like it's overstressed. For me, this is something that is like, this is love for me. So I would say
true.
these two are stronger expressed or felt in my case. And
Interesting you spoke about your parents because I remember, sorry if you wanted to say
no, no,
something,
no,
I
no,
just
I just
cut
no,
in between.
go
Okay.
on.
So I remember you telling me that how your dad would cook food and keep it ready. So when you girls and your brother came from university would eat, and your mom wouldn't cook, and your dad would cook. And honestly speaking, at that time I felt, whoa, that's a different culture I've never heard of or seen in my culture. And I wish for that someday, I get a husband like that. Like, even at that age when you have grown up kids, he's taking over the most important thing, that's which is preparing food. And you know what, it worked out, that wish, it came true. My husband is like, he cooks, yeah, and I'm so happy with that. And he's like, he cooks most of the time, and he's got so better at his food tastes better. And it's just amazing. This weekend we had a guest come over, and I was like taking my extra sleep. And when I woke up in the morning, like I woke up by 9:30, and he was in the kitchen, and he cooked like a big curry of chicken, 3 kilos
Wow,
of
that's
a
amazing.
big curry, and big pulses and salad and whatnot. And I was like, wow.
Great. I mean, like, I
So
love to hear that. It's, in general, I think specifically talking about India, I felt their food is also a different sort of love language, because the time you spend and the amount of energy and the amount of, I don't know, even I would say of love you put in preparing the meals every day for your family, for your beloved people. It's also some sort of way of building and maintaining strong, deep relationship. Like for me, food in India specifically, like preparing and eating together, is a sort of communication of love as well.
yeah. And even
So
waiting for your partner to come at the table or come from work and then eating together. Even like earlier, it used to be only females waiting for their husbands. But now
mm,
it's like even the husband is like, okay, kids you can have. I'll just wait for your mama to be free, and then, like
yeah, this
both
is
waiting
very
for each
sweet.
other. So very sweet.
I think sometimes I suffer because, like my dad for sure always used to wait for my mom to come back home from work to eat, and the
Mm-hmm.
same way for my mom. And that evening sitting together and just chit chatting and eating, I think for them was a very sorry, just getting coffee, was very important way of reconnecting and feeling loved. And that's why I always used to be like, sometimes I used to come earlier and I was like, hey dad, let's have, I ordered some food, so let's have it. And he's like, you can have it, but I'm gonna wait for mom to come so we can have, dinner. So sometimes I used to eat and then they eat after me because I'm super hungry, and he's hungry too, but he's gonna wait for her to come back. So for
Ah,
me,
how
that
sweet.
used to be super sweet. But just to clarify and clean the image of my mom as non-cooking, she cooks a lot, and she used to cook a lot when we were like kids and in the school age. It's just that I think they shared quite equal amount of time in the kitchen, and the way they, the way they contributed in that sort of area. It was not like just, my mom is doing all the work. I think my dad contributed a lot, and I think he liked cooking in some cases. He, even now, like when we go home, the special food is usually made by my dad, like some special fish cooked in one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
or some meat. And I think he also kind of expresses his love through food, which I found a bit of connection between, let's say, I don't know, how I felt in India and how I feel in my home. And maybe that's why I felt quite good in India, because food was also a connecting factor there. So
Yeah,
yeah.
true, true.
Um, but also, what I remembered just now while talking, when I was, for example, in India, I had actually quite a few funny things. Now that I think, that time I was not analyzing it through the filter of, love language, but I had one funny thing, and I will just tell you. Um, I remember I with one of my friends, we were just like once like hanging out, like probably inside one of our apartments, and just kind of playing music. And at some point I just started dancing. Let me just that I will dance just to show that I was not like, I was just na 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 na,
Ooh.
something like that, and I was just like grooving. And
Okay.
that friend stops the music. He looks in a very serious way to me, and he's like, Aiste, did you just say that you love me? And I was like a bit taken aback. And where I'm leading to is, I felt sometimes in India that with little things of your physical expressions, like, I don't know, look of the eyes, movement of the body, a wink, or a little smile, people used to build loads of story that it's leading to some sort of, I don't know, love, or it's expression of love. Like later when I spoke with that friend, apparently like he maybe had some thoughts about us, like we're
I
just not
wonder
not
which
just
friend.
friends.
Now I'm trying to scan all the common friends we had and all the friends, and which one is he?
Don't sky, but what
I
I'm
think I
trying to
know.
say, is like, I think in India I've much more I felt that whatever you do with your expressions and physicality means more things to people than, I don't know, like here, like a hug here, or like a kiss on the cheeks is like, it's just like hello, goodbye. But there, I don't know, maybe it's just my perception, and please share yours, but I felt it's much physical touch, or physical expressions has more meaning of love even.
Yes, it is definitely, definitely. So, like even a smile, and like you'll see it in movies also, and uh, in college also, if there's a guy who kind of likes a girl, and if she smiles back, it's, ah, she smiled. Even if a girl is ignoring a boy, they're like, ah, she's ignoring because she likes you, or he's ignoring because she likes you. So it's like pretty confusing, like the whole thing over there, that of, is he liking me? Is he not? Is it this? Then because it's been suppressed, yeah, expressing has been suppressed for this generation is a bit free, but even my parents generation was, there were only a few rebels who could get married to the people they love. So
Mm,
that's why the love languages is like limited. And once people get married, they, I think, hardly say I love you to each other. So it's like if one of them says I love you, they'll be like, what's wrong, like, are you okay? Like it turns out, even in the modern age, yeah, we get caught up with because Indians are like they're not like Europeans. What I've noticed with Europeans is like they have a work life. They know this is my work life. I'm not going to do overtime, or if I'm going to do, and this is my family time. And
mm,
within the family also, they have, okay, this is the time with my kids and my wife together. But no, with my wife, I need a separate time. Like I need a date with her, or I need a only vacation, solo vacation, only both of us together. So
yeah.
but this is not there in the Indian culture. So it's like after you get married, okay, duties, like you have your family, then once you have kids, live for your kids, earn for your kids, and all this. So there's no like, hey, hello, the kids are in the first place because of us. Let's take a break and let's be with each other. Let's pick up from where we left, because usually the love and that spark thing gets left just in the few early months of marriage. So
Okay.
Yeah, I find this as a big hole in like the marriage thing. Like they should be in some way trained, or at least now I think maybe the next generation, if we set good examples, um, yeah, they would know about this, that how it is like you can still be all lovey-dovey, all over each other as
Mm,
partners, even when you have gray hair.
mm. Srishti, sorry to kind of go on the technical details, but when you talk, I can hear a bit of like every time you say something, it's a bit of echo, and I think maybe your mic is a bit. Can you just try to talk now?
Okay, is this okay? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's a bit better because it like otherwise it has this shh every time you say something. Shh, it's like your voice plus
Ah,
some noise.
okay. This is like a
Yeah, keep
library,
it.
so it's like there's a dome and like maybe the
Maybe keep
voice
it
is
like that
just
a bit, not so close, but
okay.
like a
When I
little.
speak, I'll keep it like this.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, it's very interesting what you said, and from my observations also regarding this verbal like words of affirmation. Let's say like if we focus on Chapman's definition, I also kind of found that in India, like a guy probably better put the song of, I don't know, Mary Jan's song to kind of confess the feelings or say like how much he appreciates you rather than he himself would ever like say, hey, you know what, like you are so nice or whatever. And I felt like the nation, which is like actually is very rich in poetry, and it's in general the language is so poetic and like so beautiful and like expressions themselves, but people are quite reserved to say that, like in I don't know, in close relationships. They're not that like expressive. They probably will use something else to say that I love you rather than themselves opening up and just say, hey, I love you.
So how is it in your side of the world? This thing of
Just put a bit your mic
um,
closer because it's like it gives the noise
yeah.
otherwise.
So this thing about your side of the world, like how is it when it's
Yeah,
like expressing? You told me about India, but how is it when a guy has to express a girl like about
I
his?
guess, yeah. I don't know if there is unified way of doing that, but everywhere else I lived, okay, I don't want to say like, oh, everywhere else I lived, I had boyfriends and they all told me I love you. But surely, like in Lithuania, it's a bit more reserved, but it's still not daily. Like I would say probably like in US, how I felt from my friends. I love you is like as I see you later, like almost like, okay, I love you, goodbye. It's very a common phrase, oh, and I would say maybe overused. And at that time, I don't know also if I would like it, but uh, in Lithuania, or I don't know, even in Spain, maybe more even expressive. I love you is said quite often. Um, or even it's chosen by different phrases. I don't know, like there are so many other ways to say, I love you, like, oh, I'm so lucky to have you. I miss you. For me, I miss you is also kind of I love you. So
Yeah.
I would say we have tons of substitutes to use it, but for me, in general, physical, not physical, words of affirmation is not that important. So I guess I'm not like focusing here that much, but generally expressivity way, like verbal expressiveness, I would say here is higher, much higher than what I felt in India was.
Yeah, totally agree.
And you lived in US as well. So would you say there you felt like, this talking and like expressing it verbally was quite more common or more free to be done?
Yeah, it was very, very common. So love you is like you can say anyone I love you, God bless you. Like God bless you, I used more than I love you, but I love you is too common. So like it was like when you actually love a person, what do you say? I love
Yeah,
you just feels like too friendly. So like how do you identify that special? So then you have to go out of the way and
yeah,
probably gift and yeah, gift, more of gift, because in US it's like doing chores and doing like your own chores is more important than doing each other. So people are more like my chore, I will do it. Like at least still you
mm-hmm.
don't are not very like close to each other or long in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, ah, my chores, I'll do my chores, you do your chores. So, but then what's the language that connects us? It's then, okay, gifting and going a little bit out of the way, maybe quality time also.
Okay. Actually, I found like for me, I've never been a big. I love to give gifts, but I'm not like a big like fan of receiving. And every time, I mean, I like to receive gifts, but it does not give me like, as much tickles as like probably acts of service or the physical language. And every time, I used to receive like from my partners like a gift, I would be like, oh, so nice, thank you. And I felt like I need to do so much more to say like, hey, I'm so grateful. But I also don't feel like, this gift is amazing, but it does not touch my like, usually it does not touch my heart as much as other things. And I always used to struggle with this, receiving gifts, because I'm not great at it, to be honest.
Yes, I totally understand you because yeah, I remember the look on some of the people's face when I would give them a gift is like, ah, you given me so I can do something. Now what do I do? Like I don't know how to beat that.
Yeah, you feel like, how do
So
you do
then I just
it?
realized that maybe sometime too much is actually like too much, and a little bit is just enough. So I learned to control that.
But I kind of like, I myself, I've noticed like, I really like to express my love through little gifts. Like, I mean, I don't know if you call, a little sticky note I leave somewhere. There is no more light anywhere in your side.
No, no, I have
Like,
to just like click.
like a
I have
card,
to click, then the lights come on again.
So, like, even, I don't know, little sticky notes on the computer, or like little stone I brought from the beach because it reminded me of your eye, or whatever, like any kind of little creative, not costful gifts. I love to give that. And I
You
don't know,
could
my
think of
partner.
an eye with a stone.
No, I
I
like
thought
to bring,
something else.
for example, I bring a seashell and I say, hey, it reminded me of
Oh.
your ear, your ear, and I brought it for you.
Uh, okay.
So these kind of things I love doing.
Hmm. Yeah, I
And
know.
no? And also, I recall, as I said, like for me, physical touch is very important. I recall uh, feeling quite difficult in India, for example, because let's say my partner would feel not so expressive like in public, like I don't know, in even around friends or family, like holding hands, hell, very difficult. Or I don't know, giving a kiss or a proper like emotional expressive hug. That would not be something that is very probably tolerated in public view, and therefore it's only kept for the private. I'm not saying like, oh, I want to make out, in the public, but
Mm.
for me would be like, I mean, I like to hold hands. I like to give a little bit of kiss in the public, not like overdoing it. And I used to feel like in public we're not able to show like our love. I don't know if you felt the same, or it more like came for you naturally because you already grew up in the culture which is not showing so much emotions outside. Was it more like natural for you that, okay, it is like it is?
Well, although I was in the culture, I didn't appreciate this conservativeness a lot. So I would always think about, picture myself like this. So when I had the chance to be with a partner, I was very expressive, like holding hands and hugging, like, a teddy bear, warm hug now and then, and kissing goodbye, kissing hi. So I would do that when I was in the States, but not like. In India or now United Arab Emirates also is kind of conservative, except for the Emirate of Dubai is fine.
Mhm.
So yeah, so uh, yeah, but I would like to be in a place that's much free with all this, like it's nice to spontaneously just kiss your partner on the head and not feel like, oh my God, people are looking at us.
Come to
So,
Spain, you can do that all around. I mean,
I
people
know.
people make out in public places, please.
Oh my God.
Okay, I mean, I think there needs to be balance. Of course, it's not like you're making out on every corner, but I think here, like, to have a long French kiss on the street is just normal. I mean, I've seen it happening.
Mm.
Maybe with COVID times less, but in general, it's more like, and I sometimes, okay, maybe I'm more like expressive, but I love holding hands or like just hugging, not like necessarily hugging just outside of the home, but like if you walk and I don't know, it's beautiful feeling, and you talk about something and I just suddenly feel like hugging my partner. I just want to do it, like it's not gonna hurt anybody, right?
I know.
So I think
Yeah, that's
that's
nice.
kind of nice. But I used to be really conscious of that when I used to be in India. Just
Yeah.
um,
They'll be like, oh, first of all, they're looking at you because there's a blondie there, and then blondie is giving us a good treat to look at. So yeah, I get your point.
okay. And do you have any, like, I don't know, fun memories or fun things that happened where you felt um maybe your and your partners or like your crush uh love languages are so different that you needed actually to think, okay, I need to adapt to this because it's very kind of one is going there and another is going there. Did you have any like memories of such things happening for you?
Like the partners having different perspectives. Yeah.
Very different love language than yours, and like you
Oh my God, always, always. Yeah, except for now. Finally. So like most of the times, because I told you I was like always creative and excited and like, okay, now I love you, so you're the most important. So there's nothing else important. Like I was that kind, a person who gives like 101%. And like
yeah.
I didn't keep my like my life separate, like my identity, okay, my work, okay, my studies, or like that. It was all like mixed up, and it's only you. So it would get like I'm sure suffocating for the person in front of me,
Mm,
because I was like trying to speak all the five love languages, like, if you see.
yeah.
Yeah, because when it's you're doing so much, then sometimes your active services, sometimes your gifts, sometimes you're this. So then I found the balance, like slowly I realized that I should stick to one. And
Mm,
it's so funny that when I read this now, when I read the summary of the book, and I kind of have researched on this, I realized that wow, such thing exists. Like you can choose one language. Don't be so complicated. Just choose one language and identify the language of your partner. Simple. It will make your life so much more simple. And then I
yeah.
realized I just had like a self reflection, and I realized that hey, like all those failed relationships that I had, it was just the language. The person wasn't bad. I wasn't bad. It was just the languages was it's not streamlined.
Mm,
So I kind of like then I try to like quiz myself and settle down to what am I right now. So the stage I am in right now is definitely acts of services, because I don't have that much time in hand. The only thing is like work around the house. So the only way I can express to my partner to me, is by making life easy for each other by doing chores, like, so the other one does coming home tired, doesn't have a lot of chores to do. And then it kind of make me feel good, like I'm not feeling bad for if we can't go alone on a date on Valentine's Day because of responsibilities of our kids. And also
yeah.
like I know, okay, no problem, because now I know my love language and his love language. So I think for the listeners who are listening, and whatever stage you are in, uh, definitely like stick to one. You can, of course, like have two kinds, but the more they will definitely be a 51% and a 49%. So
Yeah.
identify that.
I think it's very important to identify your, like, rather than thinking, hey, how do I like to express my love? To actually ask your partner, hey, how do you feel most loved? What do I do for you to feel most loved? Because for me, it's like, as you said, sometimes all these five love languages, I'm like, I can do it all. Like, I can be, talking a lot of sweet things to you, and I can be a lot of like little things of acts of service, and I love gifting gifts, and I also really like to plan quality time, like weekend getaway or like evening just for us. And I'm also so touchy and kissable and hugging, so I can do it all. But actually, probably first of all, you spend a lot of energy on the stuff that maybe for your partner is not that even important. And just to kind of preserve a bit yourself and also make the most out of your relationship and your bonding, maybe just ask your partner, hey, when do you feel most loved? And probably it's going to be something, as you mentioned, just one of these things. And then you can actually release even the pressure out of yourself than trying to be everything at once. You can just stream your energy into one side, and that's it. And I think the most amount of problems can come if your partner, let's imagine, your partner feels most loved when he's hugged and kissed, and you're not a very touchy person, and like for you to express love is, let's say, through acts of service, and he is actually missing a lot of physicality. I think that's when comes maybe a bit of an issue, because you don't maybe feel so comfortable to express the way he feels most loved, and that's when probably the conversation needs to happen. What do we do?
So true, so true. So, identifying what you like to receive and what the person likes to receive, give and take, right? So,
Mm,
you can speak different languages because, come on, hey, love is a universal language. It's just that within that language, there are some different sub languages. So, just identify it, and it's pretty easy. Like,
yeah.
yeah, I totally get you. So, give in a different way and receive in a different way. Solves a
Mm.
lot. I think marriage counselors can use this.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, it's sounds easy though, but I'm thinking, like, day in and day out, you still, like, there are so many other things happening. So I think it's like, um, love languages is great to ease in your way of being in a relationship, but like you still need to learn conflict management, and how to not
Oh,
get
yeah.
angry with daily chores and so many other things, like financial things and sexual things, and I mean all these kind of issues. But I think it's a good start to identify
Yeah.
how, and
And also, sorry to interrupt, also, I feel we are always changing. So maybe now because I have responsibilities and the only thing I do at home is chores, my husband is the same. So maybe it's that. But maybe later in life, when, we are at a different age, maybe we'll want quality time. That will
yeah.
be our love language. So I think it's by age and stage, and, like your preference keep changing. So I hear that a lot, and like we girls also use that. Like, it's very different when before a relationship, after a relationship, after a marriage. I think it's not the person who's different, it's his language that changes. So we should try to identify if there's a change happening. So okay, like you are changing, I'm not. So okay, fine. So okay, otherwise we both are changing at the same time. Then
Yeah.
what has changed, what language has changed? So it's not going to be the same. It's like our like what my mom had told me long back. I still use it many times. Like in a relationship, there are like seasons. Sometimes it's
Mm.
winters, so you feel winter, like you feel cold. Sometimes it's summer, it's all happy. Sometimes it's autumn. So all these spring. So I think these are all these seasons we go through, and our languages definitely change. Yeah.
I think it's a very beautiful, beautiful expression on the seasonality of relationship, and sometimes it's not easy to accept, that actually there could be waving. I mean, it's always waving. It's waves on and off, and it's very normal. And you cannot always just be like on this cloud nine, like swimming through years and years, because it's just not the way human work, and not the way love probably works. But
Mm-hmm.
also, like I found it interesting when you were saying about these stages and the differences of language during stages, because now that I think of, there are sometimes even like very small short-term stages. Like, let's say I have a really important assignment at work for a few weeks, and therefore I'm so focused there. And I think when my partner would come with my preferred, like, physical touch love language, I would be like, hey, no, 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 like, now I really need to focus, and my head is somewhere else. And at that time, I probably would more appreciate acts of service as a love language during this period of life where, like, I need to be focused somewhere else and my brain is just flying around. And actually, I have preference for him just to be there and help me with the daily things around. And that's how I would feel most loved, rather than, being touched and cuddled and kissed all around, because I would be like probably more like irritated than like, yeah, I feel loved now. you know
Mm-hmm. Totally get you.
so yeah, so I think it's like, it's an interesting thing to explore, and definitely worth a while, because I recall one of my friends, he was in a marriage probably for 5 6 years, and it was rough, like the last years were rough. And he was telling me that, I was looking online for some material to understand a bit better the relationship, and somehow this Gary Chapman's book was on the list, so I bought it. I read it, then I gave my wife to read it, and then we had a conversation. And what we understood is exactly what we discussed before. He thought that she likes to have, I don't know, I don't recall now of his personal case, but let's say she likes to, he thought She likes to receive gifts. So he was focusing, even financially, like a bit more on expensive things, trying to get gifts, trying to go for dates, like some special things, like, oh, I'm just gonna book, like some, trip to Paris, and I have to save money. So I have to like really work harder than for that. And actually for her, it was just quality, sorry, not quality of time, but acts of service. So she just wanted actually day in and day out to feel these little things happening where he is there for her during daytime. And she really did not appreciate gifts at all. For her, like receiving a beautiful necklace for 1,000 euros was like, oh, nice, sweet. And then she never wears it because like she does not really likes the gift part, and she's not,
Mhm.
so much like materialistic person. And I think that conversation that they had, a very long one, as he told me, was so much like, like flood breaks through the all the barrier, because it kind of let them understand and see each other in such a different light, that, hey, you know what, I actually like more when you just make lunch when I'm really busy, and forget the Paris trip. Let's just, go for a walk in the evening. For me, that's more than enough. And for him, it was releasing pressure, because he was, getting into a horse race of earning money, because I need to give her this and I need to do that for her, which doesn't even matter to her. And I think this is like
Mhm.
very, very good eye opener sometimes, to have these conversations, because you might be running for something
True.
that partner doesn't really care about.
True, true.
So
I think I'm going to also have a talk about this with my partner. I'm like thinking, maybe sometimes I can just bring it up. Although he's not, he doesn't like a lot of relationship analysis, but this is like, yeah, it's not
No, I
analysis.
think, yeah,
It's
for
just
men is like, sometimes it's not easy to pick like, hey, let's sit now and analyze our love languages. I think you have to
yeah.
come in with more like prepared thing, like what do you want, and what do you want to talk about, and what do you want to bring out of this conversation. Otherwise, this la 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 is a bit it's hard for a man.
True.
Okay, so I think, because I know that you will have to go back home, and it's been some time of our discussion. I wonder if you have any final words or anything that you want to share as a message for our viewers and listeners, just not necessarily on love languages, just on love, or whatever came to your mind during our conversation.
Hmm. Yeah, I can think of. What I'm thinking is now, since December is approaching, and uh, although Valentine's Day is in the month of Feb, but still I feel December is a very beautiful time to revive your relationship. So because of the cold weather and drinking hot coffee together and Christmassy, all the get-togethers, the family get-togethers. So in case there's someone who's going through a hard time in your relationship, use this month, use whatever we discussed here, the different 5 languages. Try to rebuild your relationship. Or the ones who have already a smooth, lovely relationship going on, still give it a little refreshing touch and probably speak a different language just to surprise the other. Probably get a gift, or if you don't believe a lot in quality time, still try to arrange for going for a walk or going to the cinemas or doing something like just watching his favorite or her favorite, putting up that movie on Netflix and having some popcorn or some nice stuff together. So um, definitely just try for fun a different language just to surprise the other, and use this month as um, a refresher for your relationship.
That's a wonderful message to close the podcast. I love it. And actually, if you run out of ideas, of creative ideas, how to surprise your partner, just write us in comments, because Srushti is the guru of creative ideas for relationship revival.
Oh yeah, I hope I'm still not old in the game. I can still play that creative part.
Now you are still as young in the game as you were, so don't
Uh,
worry.
Thank you
So
so much.
lovely,
Thank you.
lovely, lovely chatting with you, and I hope to still see you soon. And enjoy, enjoy the month, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the work day actually today. And I hope to catch up with you soon. And keep
Definitely.
smiling.
Bye, everyone.
Ciao. Bye bye.